Back home, the Shirilla family back in the spotlight after a new Netflix documentary revisits the deadly Strongsville crash. Now Mackenzie Shirilla's father is on administrative leave from his job as a teacher. Vasi Prokos spoke with him on why he's on leave.
I went to the Shirilla family home and talked with Mackenzie Shirilla's father, Steve. Off camera, he confirmed with me that he has been placed on administrative leave from Mary Queen of Peace School regarding comments that he made in a new Netflix documentary called The Crash.
Turn the camera off, we'll talk.
That was my conversation with Steve Shirilla when I walked up to his door. Steve Shirilla says he's been placed on administrative leave from his job at Mary Queen of Peace School in Cleveland following the documentary's release. The school's website lists him as an art and digital media teacher. He told me he's upset with the documentary and the way it was edited, saying more of what he said was left out. The school sent an email to parents saying it is investigating allegations on social media that a teacher demonstrated poor judgment and that the teacher was placed on administrative leave while the investigation continues. The school said student safety and trust remain a top priority, but noted it is limited in what it can share during an active personnel investigation. Back in 2023, a Cuyahoga County judge found Mackenzie Shirilla guilty on multiple charges, including murder and aggravated vehicular homicide. She was sentenced to life in prison with eligibility for parole after 15 years. Steve Shirilla also told 19 News he believes his daughter is innocent and that there's more to the story. A parent of a student at the school who asked to remain anonymous says students loved and respected Mr. Shirilla as a teacher, but the renewed attention is bringing unwanted focus to the school and its kids. The quote goes on to say, "As a parent, I can understand the want to support and protect your daughter. However, I do think the way a lot of this was handled by the parents wasn't tasteful, and some of the light that Mr. Shirilla has been in due to this case and the documentary draws a negative light to our school and is drawing a scary amount of attention to our kids." That parent says the administrative leave is not related to anything Steve Shirilla did at the school, but rather the backlash and attention surrounding the case in the documentary. 19 News has reached out to the school for comment, but we are still waiting to hear back. In Cleveland, Vasi Prokos, 19 News.